going on, everybody? It is Monday, May 19th at 5:02 p.m. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings along with a tornado warning not far from regions of Washington and Benton County. So I wanted to go ahead and go live and kind of give everyone an update on where we're at right now. This is probably going to be our first round of the day of tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. The tornado warning is still in Oklahoma. Guys, if you don't mind, my computer is super laggy right now. I don't know what's going on. If you guys don't mind, can you leave a comment? Let me know. Video and audio sound good, look good. I really appreciate it. I don't know what's going on with my computer. But the reason why I'm live is because we have a severe thunderstorm moving toward Washington and Benton County. You guys are going to have to forgive my radar scope. It is just moving at a crawl pace right now. But this is for northwestern sections of Washington County, essentially from Prairie Grove northwest. And then we have Siloam Springs, Gentry, Indicator, and we'll just say Gravitz close enough for the severe thunderstorm warning. There's a strong storm moving in soon from the southwest. There's also a tornado warning that's still in Oklahoma, though, but this circulation will be in or near the Washington and Benton County line relatively soon. This is moving pretty quick. I can read the text for you from the National Weather Service. It's northeast of Tahlequah now. It's moving northeast at 40 miles an hour, so it's moving pretty quick. The circulation is here, just northeast of Tahlequah. Bro, why is my radar scope acting like this? Audio and video doesn't match. Yeah, I figured it didn't, the way that my stuff is acting right now. And that's so frustrating. Circulation, though, just moved through Tahlequah and is moving to the northeast. So if you're in or near Siloam Springs, southwest Benton County in general, certainly want to give you a heads up for this as it moves off to the east-northeast. It is 5:04 now. It's moving northeast at 40. It should be there within the next 30 minutes or so. So wanted to give everybody a heads up on that. I'm going to zoom out real quick and show you kind of where things stand elsewhere. So Northwest Arkansas was the first to get in on the action today, but we have quite a bit of activity to the southwest that's headed this way. We've got numerous tornado warnings down here along the Red River. Tornado warnings down here south of Ada, Oklahoma, south of McAllister. Guys, this is all going to move up to the east-northeast towards west central Arkansas, Fort Smith, Mena, Waldron, Cedarville, and areas points to the north. Eventually, all of this should congeal into one big line and move into western Arkansas, eventually into north central and central Arkansas, and it might even make it as far east as eastern Arkansas late tonight. Storms do look a little bit messy, which is a good thing. We want storms to be messy because they tend to become more of just wind producers rather than tornadoes, but that doesn't mean that they won't produce tornadoes at all. But I'm not seeing that distinct isolated supercell characteristics, which is just a great thing. That's fantastic. But nonetheless, though, still going to have to watch these storms real close. And I'm so sorry, guys. I have no idea why my stuff is acting laggy. My internet service is good. My computer's, I don't know. So, but once again, just to kind of revisit, the reason why I'm live here is I went ahead and went live. It's due to the circulation in northeast Oklahoma that's headed for Benton and Washington counties. It looks pretty broad. The tornado warning is still up, but nonetheless, that's what's headed for Washington and Benton counties. But there's also a severe thunderstorm warning for strong wind gust, perhaps even some hail there in the western sections of both Washington and Benton County as well. So I figured it was time to go ahead and go live and discuss that. But real quick, before we move forward, I'm going to shut down some programs and see if that'll help my computer. I'm wondering if I'm using too much CPU on my computer or something, because something's not right. I've got to figure something out. Give me just 1 second, guys. Also watching that circulation to the north, northwest of Kansas, Oklahoma, south of Jay. We might have to keep an eye on that one too. Okay, that's a little bit better. Maybe that helped some. Looks like my stuff isn't delayed as bad too on my screen. So let's just hope that that helped. Sorry guys, I was having some issues with my computer. It was just lagging so bad. So for those of you who are just now joining, the reason why I'm live right now is because we have severe thunderstorms moving into northwest Arkansas soon. If you live in Washington and Benton County, you probably can hear the thunder. Quite a bit of activity moving into the western sections of both Washington and Benton counties. We have a tornado warning due to the circulation that just moved through Tahlequah moments ago. We have all sorts of pockets of wind in this as well. Regardless if there's a tornado, it does appear that there's going to be some gusty winds associated with this. So if you live in Washington, Benton County, especially Benton County more so than Washington, I think, as this moves off to the east-northeast, this whole thing is moving. The motion is to the northeast. Right there. You can kind of see it moving up to the north here, north-northeast. So Siloam Springs, Gentry, Decatur, Gravette. This will be headed into town soon. Plenty of thunder, plenty of rainfall, perhaps some hail at times, and some stronger winds. And we'll see if anything spins up for a tornado warning. With things looking a little bit more on the messy end, I'm hoping that this will translate well into western sections of Arkansas, south of northwest Arkansas, for example, towards Fort Smith. I'm hoping that this will translate well into a lower tornado threat. Now, I think it will. I've been talking about this now for 3 days, that I felt like the saving grace for today would be a messier storm mode, and this to me looks messy. I see the tornado warnings in South Oklahoma, south of McAllister and Ada, and one near Ardmore. All of that's going to translate to the east-northeast with time towards Fort Smith, probably within the next 2 hours or so. So we're going to have to watch it. There could be additional warnings. We could have severe thunderstorm warnings. We could have tornado warnings. We could have tornadoes out of it. Just because you have a messy storm mode doesn't mean you can't have tornadoes. But prolific tornado producers generally don't come from a messy squall line of storms. They come from isolated cyclic supercells. So that's all I mean by that. The rest of the state's quiet. We had some storms in far northeast, eastern Arkansas today. Those have moved out. But in general, looking across Arkansas, there's just not a whole lot going on, which is great. And that's going to change tonight, of course, as storms continue to move into the area. We'll zoom back in here, though, on our storm. This is approaching northwestern Washington County and southwest Benton County here pretty quick. And there's still signs of a circulation there. We'll see what the National Weather Service in Tulsa does with that circulation as it continues towards Benton and Washington County near the Watts community. But storms really are only filtering into northwest Arkansas right now. The Fort Smith area. So just for clarity's sake, guys, the highest severe weather risk today is from Mena through Waldron. Greenwood, Fort Smith, Van Buren, Alma, Cedarville, Mountainburg, and then all of northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas for now is the only area that is being impacted by storms. Fort Smith, the Greenwood area, west central Arkansas has had no storms today. So this round to the southwest will be, man, I am terrible at drawing on here. This stuff down here to the southwest will be to you within the next hour or two. More so probably the next hour and a half or so, I'd say. And it could be strong to severe when it arrives. Mary says, what is Siloam Springs looking like? It's about to be stormy. You've got a lot of thunderstorm activity headed for you very soon. It should be over you pretty quick. No tornado warning in Siloam, but you do have a severe thunderstorm warning. Watching that circulation still that moved through Tahlequah, that's headed in the general vicinity of Siloam, more so Highway 59 south of town. Folks, just for clarity's sake, tonight while I'm streaming, I do have the chat up. I'm not going to be able to look at the chat 24/7, but I'll do my best to answer some questions for you. The National Weather Service is saying that this is an observed tornado. This is from 507 though, so the information is a little bit old. They're saying that a confirmed tornado is located 3 miles north of Eldon, Oklahoma, moving northeast at 40. It's 5:13 now, so that information is just a little bit old. But if for some reason you're watching this and you live in the Watts community near Watts or anywhere near the Washington and Benton County lines, certainly want you to be sheltered. We can loop this for just a second. And I think, it's not that I think, I know, this is where the confirmed tornado tag came from. You can see the velocity couplet really spike right here, right there. See the bright coloration there just northwest of Eldon? That's likely when your tornado occurred just northwest of town, and it does look like it's broadened out quite a bit, which is good. But this storm could be going through a cycle process. So I certainly want anyone downstream to be well aware of that as this continues off to the east-northeast. But it's about to get stormy in northwest Arkansas as this activity moves in. I do not have the lightning display pulled up on my radar scope because I feel like it clutters the map too bad, but I can assure you there's plenty of lightning embedded in this storm. Sheldon says, how's Watts looking? Watts is under a tornado warning right now. I apologize for the lag on my radar scope, guys. That's really frustrating, but I don't know what's going on with that. If you live in the Watts community or near Watts or in Westville, Oklahoma, certainly want you to be sheltered as the storm is moving your way from the southwest. It had a confirmed tornado northwest of Eldon earlier and is still rotating, so it could produce another tornado here pretty quick. This is northwest of Prairie Grove. Prairie Grove is in the severe thunderstorm warning, but the tornado warning does not include Prairie Grove at this time. Stacy says, how does Bella Vista look? It's about to be stormy here pretty quick. The storm moving into Benton County and Washington County here pretty fast within the next, Bella Vista, it'll be there within the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes max. Really, this stuff down here to the southwest of Fort Smith in southern Oklahoma, I'm very curious as to how this is going to behave as it moves into western Arkansas here within the next hour and a half or two. I'm glad to see that it has congealed more into a line. I feel like this is going to really thwart that tornado threat and more so just give us stronger storms with some wind gust, perhaps some hail at times, but just looking from a broad view across the region, this does not scream tornado outbreak to me at all. seeing numerous storm interactions, storms all over the place, storms putting out cold pools. That all of those are negating factors to tornadoes. That doesn't mean that tornadoes can't happen. They can absolutely happen in a messier storm mode, like I said earlier. But some of the models this morning were spitting out isolated supercells across the region, and that was, some really alarming signals. And it just hasn't went that way. And I'm not complaining. Please don't take my words. Don't confuse my words. But this storm does mean business. This storm has already produced one tornado near Eldon, Oklahoma, and this is headed for Washington and Benton counties. And it's not too far from the Watts community in Westville. I guess I need to switch to Tulsa's radar because Fort Smith is having a hard time. Yeah, Tulsa's radar is a lot closer, it looks like. Well, I don't know. Pretty similar in distance. What I can tell you is that we have some strong winds headed for Benton County. This stuff near Colcord. You can see radar sampling. Now, this is not at the ground level, but sampling 70 plus miles an hour, winds aloft. Some of that's mixing to the surface. So if you live in western Benton County, if you live in Gentry, Decatur, Siloam, Highfill, we would go ahead and expect a severe wind gust moving into town here pretty quick, within the next 20 to 30 minutes max. And then we'll also have to watch for any circulations to form. Gravette had a tornado not long ago. One of those quick spin-up tornadoes that move through. The purple is range folding. It's basically the radar, the velocity scan. It kind of has like an end to the beam. I don't know how else to explain it, but sometimes you have range folding where it's almost like the radar doesn't really know what to make of the winds going to and from the radar side. We're looking at a velocity product that allows us, obviously these red colorations are the winds moving away from the radar. I'm looking out from Tulsa, so to the west. Still a circulation there near Christie, Oklahoma, and this is headed for Westville and Watts community. Circulation would be right here, guys. Here, just northwest of Christie, Oklahoma. I believe this is moving off to the east-northeast towards Watts. Yeah, so if you live in the Watts community or Watts, those are right on the Arkansas state line. So I'm talking relative to people who live in this region. Certainly want to be mindful of this storm to your southwest. And then just to the north of the tornado warning is the stuff near Colcord, which is right on the Benton County line. Radar estimation, 70 mile an hour plus winds. Those are aloft, like I said earlier, but some of it could be mixing to the surface too. Let's go my social media for just a second, guys. I'd like to see if anybody has had a visual on that tornado. It's only the beginning, guys. We're gonna have quite an evening. I'm sure. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to get a couple things set up here real quick before. I know once the tornado, if we do have tornado warnings really start cranking up in Arkansas, it's hard to keep up sometimes. I'm trying to get some of this stuff done real quick before we, especially if they continue this warning into Benton and Washington counties. I can't even fix that on here. So, yeah. So the biggest, I saw somebody's comment just now. That's a good comment. The biggest takeaway for right now, it's 5:21 p.m. on Monday, May 19th. If you're watching this live, we don't have any tornado warnings in Arkansas yet. We will likely have some tonight. We could have one here fairly soon if the National Weather Service in Tulsa decides to issue this tornado warning downstream into Benton and Washington counties. And it's due to a circulation here that's just west of Westville, Oklahoma, which is right on the Arkansas state line. And I think they will end up doing so, given that this circulation is still fairly prominent there between Eldon and Westville, Oklahoma. And this is going to continue moving off to the east-northeast. So if you live in southwestern Benton County or northwestern Washington County, this is your early heads up. You're likely going to deal with a tornado warning here relatively soon unless this vanishes quick. So there's no shame in prepping early ahead of that time. The National Weather Service in Tulsa might want to give this a few more scans to see what they want to do with it. But we also have, unrelated to the tornado warning, we do have a severe thunderstorm warning for western sections of Benton County. And you can see this here, folks. This almost looks like a pocket of perhaps a circulation too, but strong winds nonetheless. The radar is estimating 82 plus mile an hour winds, and there's the tornado warning, so never mind. But that's a pretty strong circulation. So if you live in northwestern Benton County, if you live in Decatur, I'll circle the circulation here real quick. Circulation's right here. And this is moving off to the east-northeast. So if you live in Gravette, I have a buddy in Gravette. Sending him a text message to make sure he's sheltered. If you live in Gravette, if you live anywhere near the city of Gravette, really, in the city limits or around it, you should certainly be sheltered pretty quick. This is moving to the northeast at around 40 miles an hour. Sulphur Springs, if you live near Decatur, if you live in Bella Vista, now is the time to hit the tornado shelter. The sirens could be going off in Bentonville and Rogers, Cave Springs, Lowell, Pea Ridge. For the moment, you are not under a tornado warning. This is only for northwestern Benton County, a small section of the I-49 corridor. But like I said, Decatur, Gravette, Sulphur Springs, Bella Vista, there is a strong circulation just southwest of town. Looking at the velocities on this, you can see we've got the radar is estimating near 80 mile an hour wind gust associated in the circulation, and you can see this being wrapped back into itself. So it's who knows how accurate that 80 mile an hour wind gust is, because it is aloft a little bit. We're looking into the mid levels of the storm just a little. But nonetheless, the radar is trying to tell us that this is kind of wrapping back into itself. It's rotating, and it could produce a tornado fairly quick. I'm still waiting to see what they do with the southern circulation as well. We could have an additional tornado warning soon for parts of Washington, southwestern Benton County. So we might have 2 tornado warnings in Benton County here in just a moment, but for now we only have 1. And this is the only tornado warning in the state of Arkansas as of 5:25 p.m. Monday, May 19th. I'll just stick to the velocity because that's like a bucket of spilled paint. Both of the circulations are still prominent, though. You can see, I want to stress that even if there is no tornado, if you live in Gravette or Decatur, especially Decatur, it looks like there's some really strong winds on the backside, perhaps the RFD, the rear flank downdraft winds that kind of wrap on the backside of the storm. If you live in Decatur or near Decatur, it's going to get really windy here soon. So your early heads up on that. And then, of course, anywhere east, northeast of Decatur, between Decatur up to Bella Vista, it'll be the same thing. And then, of course, we have, I don't want to forget about this. I know it's not in Arkansas yet, but there's a clear circulation just northwest of Christie, Oklahoma, and that's headed for southwestern Benton and northwestern Washington County. I'm sure the National Weather Service in Tulsa will likely go ahead and issue that warning out soon, I would hope, as that continues to cycle. That's already produced 1 tornado for sure near Eldon, Oklahoma. For those of you who are watching and you don't live in northwest Arkansas, there's nothing going on outside of this right now. So looking out across the region. If you live in western Arkansas, down near Fort Smith or Greenwood or anywhere in that region, storms are headed your way. They'll be there soon, but for now, northwest Arkansas is the only area being impacted by tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. But I'm afraid this is really just the beginning for the evening. So, and I apologize for the speed it's taking for my stuff to load. I have no idea what's wrong with my stuff. I do want to pull up the big map real quick and go over some local roadways and stuff for the circulation, both of these circulations. If I can pull it up. Okay, my computer is just like not cooperating whatsoever with me. So for northwest Arkansas, Benton County, especially the northwestern sections of the county, the circulation has crossed the state line now and is likely approaching, it's already crossed Highway 43 north of Cherokee City, and it is likely now approaching Highway 102, which connects Decatur to Maysville, Arkansas, which is right on the state line to the west of Gravette. If you live along Highway 59 between Decatur and Gravette, if you live in the city of Gravette, if you live in the city of Decatur, you should be sheltered. If you live on Mount Zion Road or West Mountain Road, which is north of Highway 102, northwest of Decatur, you have a circulation that's going to be moving overhead soon. If you live on Lime Kiln Road, Chicken Road, if you live on Mount Olive Road, you need to be sheltered, guys. I'm telling you, regardless of a tornado or not, really strong wind gusts associated with this circulation in general. Don't want to mess with it. It looks like it's going to move right into Gravette. I mean, the city of Gravette's going to get hit with this circulation. That doesn't mean that there's a tornado. I'm not saying that there's a for sure tornado on the ground. The National Weather Service is still sometimes this is stubborn, guys. Give me just a second. There we go. The National Weather Service is maintaining that this is still a radar indicated tornado, and I would agree. All that means is that there's a circulation there that could imminently produce a tornado, but we don't know for sure if there's one actually on the ground. And I don't think there's one on the ground right now. Looking at the debris tracker, it's likely pretty tough to see anything. I don't really see anything that says, that's yelling to me, hey, big tornado on the ground. But guys, this happens fast. As we all know in northwest Arkansas, we remember Bea last year. It does not take much. But it is headed into the city of Gravette. Sulphur Springs is going to be close. If you live in Sulphur Springs, you're in the polygon, I would go ahead and be sheltered. This storm is moving to the northeast. Let's look at the forward speed. The circulation as a whole is right here, this blob. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to zoom in on this. I'm trying to pull up the National Weather Service text. There we go. It's moving northeast at 55 miles an hour. This is an old scan, so it's likely in Gravette now. I'm waiting on the newest scan. I think I've got it. Really strong winds are moving into town here soon. But let's look at this real quick. So, folks, the circulation here is moving into Gravette soon. It's 5:30 2 p.m. This is from a 5:30 radar scan. Looking at Gravette, it's been a while since I've been in Gravette, but you've got 72 that runs west out of town, Highway 59 that runs south out of town. So if you live anywhere along 72 on Main Street, if you live anywhere on 59 that runs south out of town, this is headed, looks like into the heart of town, the circulation itself. So it's going to be moving directly overhead. So just, making a blanket statement, if you live anywhere in the city of Gravette or nearby, the outskirts of Gravette, certainly don't need to be outside with this passing over. It could be very dangerous. And next up, beyond this, we've got the Highway 72 and the I-49 interchange. Everybody knows that if you're going up to the north, if you're traveling through Benton County, you've got, I-49 intersects with 72. You take a left, you go to Gravette. You take a right, you can take it all the way up to Bella Vista. But this is coming up on that soon after it goes through Gravette. So if you are traveling on I-49, north or south in Benton County, a big heads up here. I definitely would recommend against driving into this because it could be a mess. They went ahead and reissued the severe thunderstorm warning. I'm sorry, guys. Give me just a second. We do not have a tornado warning for the southern circulation. I'm waiting to see what they do with that. They went ahead and issued the severe thunderstorm warning out as a whole on this to Johnson, Springdale, Lowell, Rogers, Bentonville, Pea Ridge. It doesn't include Garfield at this time, but a large chunk, almost all of Benton County. Really want anyone in Gravette, though, to be sheltered. This circulation is certainly concerning. Like I said earlier, I've got a friend of mine that's in Gravette. I know he is probably nervous right now. I don't blame him. I sent him a text to make sure he was sheltered up. But as this moves through Gravette, it's over the city of Gravette now. It's going to be moving to the east-northeast out of Gravette towards Interstate 49. If you live near the New Life Christian Church, if you live on Highlands Road, I'm just giving you some downstream warning on this circulation as it moves through Gravette. Set my phone right here. If you live on Rocky Del Hollow Road, if you live near the APAC Central ACRH Company, which is west of I-49, they're northeast of Gravette. Certainly would, need to be sheltered, need to be in your safe spot. If you live on, let's see what this road is that connects here. Butler Creek Road, which takes you from Sulphur Springs. You can take this out of Sulphur Springs. It looks like it takes you all the way to I-49. I certainly want you to be sheltered there too. And then even going downstream from there, we can go ahead and go all the way out. Folks, if you live in Bella Vista, you need to be sheltered. If you live north of Bella Vista on Highway 71 near the Missouri border, you need to be sheltered. Forest Hills Boulevard, Camden Road. There's so many communities and housing additions here. If you live anywhere near the Scottsdale Golf Course, Gordon Hollow Drive, there's a Bella Vista Canine Corral Dog Park. This is all downstream from the circulation, guys. The circulation's over Gravette now. This is moving up to the east-northeast. Certainly, if you live in the city of Bella Vista, you should be in your safe spot. You should have been in your safe spot 20 minutes ago. But, guys, I could sit here all day and call out all of these city streets, community streets, neighborhood streets here west of Bella Vista. It's a very populated area. But it's over Gravette right now. Look at the debris tracker real quick and see. Can't say definitively that I can see anything being on the ground with this, but the circulation itself is certainly noteworthy. Decatur is on the southern end of the circulation, and the circulation is moving away from you. So if you're in Decatur, you should be okay. Certainly wouldn't mind if you could give this storm another 10 or 15 minutes and let it get away from you. Gentry's not in the warning. Bentonville's not in the warning. Centerton's not in the warning. Pea Ridge is not in the warning. Cave Springs, Lowell, Highfield, you're not in the warning. This is only for Gravette, Sulphur Springs, Bella Vista. Small chunk of Benton County is included here. This is the only tornado warning in the entire state of Arkansas as of 5:37 p.m. on Monday, May 19th. And guys, as you can see here on the reflectivity scan, lots of yellow, lots of orange, lots of green. There's a lot of rain. The odds of you being able to see this circulation, see a tornado, pretty low. Circulation's pretty strong though here. In between Sulphur Springs, it's exiting Gravette now and moving off to the east-northeast near Bella Vista. This is going to be in the Bella Vista community within the next 5 minutes, 10 minutes. And it's going to be on the Missouri border. Those of you who may follow who live near Jane, Missouri, which is just north of Bella Vista on the Missouri-Arkansas border, just a heads up, there's no tornado warning. I don't cover Missouri, but I could see them extending this into Missouri soon. It's covered by the National Weather Service in Tulsa. I don't remember what the name of that Missouri county is. Is it McDonald County maybe? I don't know. But certainly want everybody in Bella Vista, though I've said it a bunch, and I'm going to say it again, want everybody in Bella Vista to be prepped and ready for this circulation as it moves into town here soon. Circulation looks more impressive now than it did a couple minutes ago. It looks like it kind of wrapped up over the city of Gravette. Deanna, storms haven't made it to Fort Smith yet. You've got a bunch of stuff headed your way to the south. This is just the only tornado warning we have right now. Yeah, guys, so just I'm going to zoom off the warning for just a second because I know some of you don't live in Northwest Arkansas. If you live in Western Arkansas, south of NWA, near Fort Smith, we have a lot of storms to the southwest that are headed this way. They haven't made it yet. They will be here, though, within the next hour and a half, 2 hours max. But right now, we really need to focus on this tornado warning near Gravette. My computer's loading at just absolute crawl space. It's so frustrating. The circulation, though, is between Gravette and Sulphur Springs, headed northeast towards Bella Vista. If you don't live in this polygon, so if you live in Gentry or Highfield or Bentonville, Pea Ridge, you're not under a warning. This is moving to the northeast as well. But Bentonville, Cave Springs, Rogers, it's storming there now. The severe thunderstorm is moving through. But there is no tornado warning for that area. It's just for north central and northwestern Benton County. And the National Weather Service will likely trim this polygon down soon to exclude Decatur. They will eventually exclude other sections of it too, depending on the new warning polygon if they issue one. But you can see here, folks, this is the latest scan. This is 5:38 p.m. The circulation's right here. This whole thing really might be going through a cycle process. Sometimes cyclic supercells, they'll wrap up, produce a tornado, maybe not produce a tornado. They'll go away for a second, tighten up again. Sometimes they'll do it over and over. Sometimes it takes them a while to produce a tornado. If they ever do, it's not always a lock that they will produce one. But it's something that you can't really gamble with for sure. Man, it's a mess. It's just a mess of a storm in general. It's good. As you guys can see here, though, even in a messy storm mode, we can still have storms rotating, attempting to produce tornadoes. It doesn't always have to be a clean supercell to produce a tornado. I'm real curious to see what they do with this cell, though, near Siloam Springs that's about to cross into Washington County. This storm has already produced one tornado. And the circulation is still there near the Watts community. I wouldn't be surprised if they issue that warning out into sections of Washington and Benton County soon. The circulation that moved through Gravette is now in between Sulphur Springs and Bella Vista, approaching the Missouri border. But the circulation is right here in between Bella Vista and Sulphur Springs on the Missouri border. About to cross the Missouri border and out of our lives. That can be handed off to Missouri. But that's going to be a few more minutes before that happens, so certainly want everybody in Bella Vista to take that serious, be sheltered. So we have a new tornado warning for our southern storm. And it looks like, yeah, there's the new tornado warning. So we have a new tornado warning for southern Benton County, for northern sections of Washington County. This does not include the city of Fayetteville. Johnson's kind of right on the line. It does include Springdale. It includes Taneytown. If you live on Highway 412, essentially between Springdale and Siloam Springs, it does include you. And it does include Highfill as well. And the circulation is right on the Arkansas state line here near the Watts community. Here's your circulation. This is what the tornado warning is for. This is moving off to the east-northeast into southwest Benton County. It's going to head for Elm Springs. I've got it real far zoomed in, guys, so we can see this. But if you live in Taneytown, if you live in Elm Springs, if you live in Cave Springs, if you live in Highfill, Springtown, this polygon includes you. The circulation is down here on the Arkansas state line, Arkansas-Oklahoma state line near the Watts community. And this is moving to the northeast, probably around 40, 50 miles an hour, so it's going to be there pretty quick. So if you live, we'll pull out the big map real quick. Just a reminder, the circulation to the north is likely crossing into Missouri now, north of Bella Vista. So I feel like we can transition to this new tornado warning. This is tornado warning number 2. We're going to have to take these one at a time, guys, especially if we start getting a bunch of them, because it can become a little bit overwhelming. This is moving into a very populated area, though, this circulation. If you live on Highway 412 between Siloam Springs and Taneytown, if you live in the community of Pedro, if you live in the community of Logan, if you live on Highway 112 south of Taneytown or north of Taneytown towards Elm Springs, if you live on Brush Creek Road or East Lake Road, if you live near Lake Elmdale, if you live anywhere near the 612 and 112 interchange north of Elm Springs and south of Cave Springs, the polygon includes you. 264 close to Cave Springs east and west, all the way over to Highfill and Springtown. This polygon includes you. This is a rough estimate for now. The polygon might be trimmed down with time. Now, I just want to remind everybody the circulation to the north and northern Benton County is now crossing into Missouri near Jane, Missouri. Gravit indicator, you're still under a warning technically, but the circulation has moved to the northeast of you. This is the only 2 tornado warnings in Arkansas. These are the only severe thunderstorm warnings in Arkansas. We do not have any other issues right now. We have more storms headed for west central Arkansas, so like Fort Smith, Van Buren, areas south near Waldron and whatnot. We'll have more storms soon, here in the next hour or so. But for now, this is it. If you're just now joining us, we have tornado warnings in northern Washington County and southwestern and south central Benton County. The circulation, the Watts community label is kind of hiding it, but you can see it here if I circle it. The circulation is here, and it is right on the Arkansas-Oklahoma line, and this is moving off to the east-northeast. It's going to cross 412 eventually, so folks, if you know somebody who, what time is it? It's 5:47. If you know somebody who's about to get off work, who's about to go into work, and they've got to travel 412 between Siloam and Springdale, now is the time to give them a phone call and tell them that they should probably not do that. Because there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of wind, and they're not going to see, if this does end up producing a tornado, the odds of them seeing that tornado in front of them, they're going to end up driving into it. And I've driven into a tornado. It's not fun. I would really encourage you to call anybody who might be traveling in that area and ask them to stop, find a structure, gas station, a restaurant, whatever it might be, to hold tight and let the storm pass. It'll be out of the area in the next 20, 25, 30 minutes. So we've went over the cities, we've went over the road networks. I feel like we've covered this pretty well so far. There's plenty of warning, especially for those of you in Springdale and on 412 over to Siloam Springs, Highfill, Cave Springs, Elm Springs, and then of course Taneytown too. Johnson's kind of right on the line as well. Here's your circulation, guys. It's not overly strong, but I mean, it's certainly warnable. Not surprising to see the tornado warning. And this is moving on to the east-northeast. This will be in Taneytown within the next 20 minutes, or in the vicinity of Taneytown. I'm not saying it will directly impact you, but it could. You're in the polygon, so certainly need to be sheltered. Find your safe spot, wherever that might be. This is not heading to Fayetteville. This is in northern Washington County, so Fayetteville is not under a tornado warning. If the sirens are going off in Fayetteville or Farmington or Greenland, please understand that the polygon does not include you. The tornado warning polygon is for areas north of Fayetteville near Springdale, Taneytown, Elm Springs, Bethel Heights, Cave Springs, Highfill, Springtown. Not quite into Lowell yet. Zooming out, this does not include Bentonville or Rogers for the moment. The tornado warning that was in northwestern Benton County has been canceled. So the only tornado warning in the entire state right now is the one that we're dealing with here for northern Washington and southwestern Benton County. Yes, Springdale is in the warning. Springdale is in the warning. Highfill sirens are going off. Good to hear. Good to hear. Yeah, everybody should be sheltered in your safe spots, whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you. That needs to be done if you're in this polygon. I'm going to repeat myself real quick, but if you know somebody, it's Monday evening, guys. Some of you guys might be getting off work, or you might have people that are going into work for a night shift or whatever it might be, or you know somebody going to dinner. If you know somebody who's about to be traveling down 412 or is headed home to Springdale or Siloam or whatever it might be, you might give them a call and let them know that a circulation is headed right for 412, kind of right in the middle. Springdale, it doesn't take that long to get to Siloam from Springdale, so you might let them know this is going to cross 412 in between Siloam and Springdale. So, and eventually likely head off to the northeast towards Highfill, Cave Springs, Elm Springs, and I think it's fair to say that Taneytown, it's going to be close for Taneytown as well. The circulation looks a little more broad on the last scan than it did just a moment ago. That's a good thing. We'll see if that persists. But like we saw with the tornado warning a few moments ago in Benton County, sometimes these circulations, they cycle and go through cycle processes. It's not always an exact science. Sometimes it takes them a while to really produce or tighten up. Yes, Smarta, the tornado warning in Bella Vista has been canceled. Now, this is the only tornado warning in the state. If you don't live in Benton or Washington County, you're likely observing nothing right now. That will change, but for the time being, this is the only show in town. We have quite a bit of activity to the southwest in Oklahoma that is moving off to the east-northeast. All of this is moving to the east-northeast. So if you live down here in west central Arkansas, the River Valley, if you live near Waldron, Poto, Oklahoma, Greenwood, Fort Smith, Van Buren, Alma, we have activity to the southwest that's eventually going to move into the area. We have tornado warnings to our southwest near McAllister now, so some of that stuff, when it gets here, could produce tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, strong winds, hail. Eventually, this will track into other regions of the state, hopefully much weaker at that time, but it's go time now. The severe weather risk right now is maximized from now through probably around 9 or 10 o'clock. Storms are a little bit more messy than some of the models suggested, which is a good thing. But that doesn't mean that the tornado risk is zero. It might just not be as high as we once thought this morning, given the trends that we were looking at. So that's a good thing, I guess, but we're still going to have to deal with storms. We're still going to have to deal with severe weather too. Zoom back into our tornado warning here in Benton, Washington County. Yeah, it really looks to me like the circulation is fizzling some, which is fantastic. I can loop it and show you what I'm talking about. I'll circle it there near the Watts community. Right there. I might use my cursor, my circle. You can see the circulation was quite a bit tighter there right when it crossed the Arkansas-Oklahoma border near Watts community. Whereas now it looks like it's broadening out some. So that's good. Hopefully we continue to see that trend and we can maybe get this thing canceled if it doesn't spin back up again. But with that being said, certainly want anybody along 412, Highfill, Cave Springs, Elm Springs, or Tawnytown to be in a storm shelter, be in your safe spot in your home due to the tornado warning. I haven't spoke on it in just a moment, but regardless of the tornado warning for Benton County, almost all of Benton County is under a severe thunderstorm warning right now as this storm moves through outside of far eastern sections of the county, and then northern and northwestern sections of Washington County is under a severe thunderstorm warning as well. Fayetteville is not, Prairie Grove is not, West Fork is not, Elkins and Winslow are not, but northern sections of Washington County is under severe related warnings at this time. And this is going to continue off to the east, northeast, towards Garfield, Eureka Springs, as it moves away from the Fayetteville, Springdale area within the next 30 to 45 minutes. And it looks like we have more severe thunderstorms off to the west, too. So this line that's moving through northwest Arkansas likely will not be the only show in town. We'll likely have additional back-building storms behind that, too. It looks like we have a confirmed tornado on the ground, too, in Oklahoma near McAllister. You can see that red hovering light there near McAllister, near Hartshorn and Kiowa. We'll look at this for just a moment. Tough to see. It's not the easiest area to get radar coverage. We can look at it from Fort Smith. But this could be a strong tornado, folks. I just want to give you a heads up. Okay, this circulation here could be producing a strong tornado near Kiowa, Oklahoma. Guys, this is going to move into western Arkansas soon. So if you live in Fort Smith, if you live in Greenwood, if you live in Mansfield, if you live in Cedarville, Van Buren, this activity is moving off to the east-northeast in our direction. It'll be here within the next hour, hour and a half. I'm not saying that it's a lock that we're going to get damaging tornadoes, but tornadoes will be possible out of this. I love that it looks messy, though. I think that will help us. I think we will win in that regard on messier storm mode, which is a victory when it comes to getting those tornado chances to go down some. I'm just not seeing a whole lot in this one, guys. The tornado warning for northern Washington and southern Benton County. I can see a little something there. We can loop it and look at that together. It was a lot more prominent there right before it crossed the Oklahoma-Arkansas border. Yeah, Centerton's not in this warning, no. It's to the south of there. Yeah, sirens in Cave Springs. Sirens are likely still going off in Cave Springs and Elm Springs, Tawnytown, Springdale, and Highfill. If they're going off in Fayetteville, I'm sorry. There's no tornado warning for Fayetteville. There's no tornado warning for Goshen, Farmington. It's all to the north of you. I know the sirens also might be going off in Bentonville, Centerton, and Rogers, but at this time, the warning does not include you yet. If this rotation continues to increase, it could eventually include Bentonville or Rogers. It does look like there's still something here. circle it for you guys here. There's still something to this. It could be going through a cycle process. It doesn't look as tight as it did earlier, but it doesn't take much for these to spin up and tighten back up. And it's headed for 412. I feel like this thing's been moving pretty slow. I know it's not, though, because these storms are moving pretty quick. Oh, this one isn't moving as fast. This one's moving northeast at 30, so this one's a little bit slower than our north storm was. But this looks like an embedded supercell in this blob of rain. You can kind of see the supercellular structure here to it. Just an interesting note. Annan says the Siloam Springs sirens have been going off for about 40 minutes. Siloam Springs is not in this warning. So, yeah, if you're in Siloam, the sirens are going off. I'm sorry, but the circulation is moving to the east away from you. Yes, storms will move into Fort Smith soon. Well, we just talked about that. There's quite a bit of activity southwest of Fort Smith that's moving this way. I want to reiterate, if you're watching this, and guys, if you don't live in western Arkansas, specifically the Fort Smith area, down to Mena, towards northwest Arkansas, maybe over to Harrison, down to Russellville, kind of that corner of the state, your severe weather risk tonight is pretty low. I want to make that clear. So if you're sweating this in Little Rock or Jonesboro, please don't. If you're in southeast Arkansas, it's really not. This information really isn't relevant to you because there really isn't a severe weather risk. This is for the western half of the state today. And of course, I cover all 75 counties, so I have to cover each accordingly. And I know that some of you have questions about specific towns and communities and counties, but when we have tornado warnings, sometimes it's hard to cover all that. I will let you know, just kind of doing a little bit of a zoom out here and looking at the region. I'm sorry that my computer is loading slow. Got a lot of activity off to the southwest here in Oklahoma. We have a confirmed tornado near Kiowa, Oklahoma, a damaging tornado. And this whole complex of storms is moving off to the east-northeast. You can see it there near McAllister. How that evolves downstream, I don't know for a fact. I guess we'll see within the next hour or so. But this activity is moving towards the Fort Smith area, Cedarville, Van Buren, Greenwood. It might eventually impact areas to the south near Mena. But this part of the state today is at most risk for severe weather, including tornadoes. Look at our circulation here again. There's still a little something there. It's getting closer to the 412. Highway 412 runs through here, over to Taneytown from Siloam and over to Springdale. There's circulations right in here. Bree says, how does Hardy look for later? You'll likely have rain and storms later tonight, but it could be late tonight. The severe weather risk is not high. Evelyn says, when should I shelter if I'm in Greenwood? If there's a tornado warning, you should shelter, but there's no tornado warnings in Greenwood right now. There's no storms anywhere near Greenwood at the current time. We have one tornado warning in the entire state. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning, too, that I want to discuss with you guys real quick. I know that we're fixated on the tornado warning, but the severe thunderstorm warning polygon is for a large chunk of northwest Arkansas, especially northern Washington County and then most of Benton County, outside of the northwestern and eastern slivers near Garfield and, of course, northwest of Gravette. There's no warning there at the time. But the concern for the moment is the one tornado warning that we're dealing with here it's moving into Benton County now. The circulation is right here. It's crossing the Benton County line here. This is the Benton County line, and it is moving into that little corridor, Benton County. It's going to head for, I would think, towards Highfill and Cave Springs. Now, don't let your guard down if you're in Tawnytown or Springdale. You're still under a tornado warning. The National Weather Service draws these polygons. I do not do those. So we're going to just go off what they say. But if you live in Cave Springs or Highfill, I feel like the odds are better that this could impact you in a few minutes. Yeah, the sirens are... unfortunately, we still have some areas that have county-based sirens, so the sirens could be going off in Gravette or Bentonville or Bella Vista. That area did have a tornado warning earlier, so they could be going off due to that. They just haven't been expired yet. But, Bentonville's not included yet, nor is Rogers or Pea Ridge or Garfield, Bella Vista on this warning. Just southern sections of the county. Winslow's not in this warning. Siloam is not in the warning. Nope. Yeah, guys, you can see here the red polygon is the only areas in the warning. So, yes, Highfill is in the warning. Definitely need to be sheltered. Good to hear. So Pea Ridge is under the severe thunderstorm warning, but the tornado warning is to your southwest, which you're not included in at this time. Really want anyone, of course, it's storming in general, but hopefully nobody's traveling north or south right now. I know they are, because they always are, but really would discourage traffic right now from traveling we'll just say from Fayetteville to Bella Vista on I-49. That's probably not fun travel conditions in general, but with the stormy conditions and, of course, the tornado warning and circulation headed northeast, not good to drive. Amanda, you're asking about a time frame, but I don't know where you live. Can you give me a location? I can try to help answer that question, but we have a lot of storms to cover tonight, so. So we do have another tornado warning as well in northeast Oklahoma that could eventually impact northwestern Benton County again. We'll go back and cover our tornado warning. Folks, this storm here is making me pretty nervous. This is the one that I worry. This monster right here, this is a beast of a storm, beast of a supercell near McAllister, Oklahoma. Okay, I don't cover Oklahoma weather, and I'm not going to stay on it long. Wherever this storm ends up, if it ends up moving into the Fort Smith Greenwood area, if it's more north in Van Buren, Mountainburg area, or if it takes a hard right turn and ends up south of Fort Smith, if it doesn't go away or dissolve some or downtrend, this one could be a big problem. Even with the messy storm mode, that is a dominant supercell that's kind of doing whatever it wants right now. It's already produced a strong tornado this evening. So I want to make that very clear that at 6:06 p.m., you're hearing me say, you can tell your friends, tell your cousin Larry, whoever it might be, that Zachary Hall said, the storm near McAllister, Oklahoma is headed our way. And it's not going to be here. It's going to be here within the hour and a half. Really need to watch that storm close. That one could be a problem child for us. So I just want to make sure that's very clear in the short to immediate term. We'll watch it. Maybe it'll go away, fizzle out some. But for now, that's the one to watch. And then, of course, we have that other tornado warning here near Jay, Oklahoma, that eventually could impact Benton County. But for now, the only tornado warning that we have in the state is the storm here moving through Benton and Washington counties. And the reflectivity presentation looks a little interesting on this, like it's maybe, I'm not really sure what this thing is doing. I don't see a whole lot here right now, guys. We still have a warning, so we'll treat it accordingly, as long as the National Weather Service has that up. But the circulation on this is really downtrended compared to when it crossed the state line about 15-20 minutes ago. Amanda, I'm sorry, but if you live in Clarksville, I can't guarantee you a severe free night. We still have storms that are going to arrive later. So unfortunately, I can't guarantee that right now. That's a good question. We'll look at that real quick. I'd also like to look and see what the velocity on the McAllister storm looks like. Well, that thing was a beast there southwest of Hartshorn. My Lord. Yeah. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you. Okay. Thank you. So someone was asking how fast the McAllister tornado warning storm is moving. It's moving northeast at 55, so it's moving pretty quick. Guys, we've all driven to Dallas before. You come out of Fort Smith, head down towards Wilburton or whatever direction you go. You can kind of do the math in your head. You're traveling 55 miles an hour. This is probably going to be in eastern Oklahoma towards the Fort Smith-ish region. I think it might end up south of Fort Smith, to be honest with you. It may end up more south towards the Greenwood, Mansfield, maybe even Waldron area if it stays on its current path. With it moving east-northeast, you can kind of see that forward motion. I don't know. It's tough to say right now. I don't have... It looks like it's bowing out, too, on the north end. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate you. Will you shut that door, Rhett? Thank you, sir. Let's go back here and address our tornado warning too. Obviously, don't want to discount this. I know people are sheltering and still watching this one closely. But it looks like the bulk of the thunderstorm is now moving off to the east-northeast into more of Benton County. I don't see a whole lot here on velocity, folks. The circulation doesn't look near what it did 20 or 30 minutes ago. Yeah, someone said it's barely raining in Springdale, no wind. Yeah, that's the bulk of the storm is now moving to the east and north of Springdale. Could still be some rain and whatnot in the region, but it looks like the bulk of this storm is now moving off into Benton County. There might even be some hail there west of Bentonville, and they just canceled the warning, which doesn't surprise me. I don't want to leave. I generally don't stay live for just severe thunderstorm warnings. No, I did not say anything about Centerton taking shelter. There's no tornado warning in Centerton. But I'm kind of glad that they canceled that warning because now we can kind of go over everything. Folks, this storm southwest of Fort Smith is a problem. I also don't want to discount this storm near Shoto and Locust Grove, Oklahoma. That's a pretty legit circulation here. South of Salina near Locust Grove, Oklahoma. This could eventually move off to the east-northeast and impact northwestern sections of Benton County, and we'll address that as so if it maintains. But this storm southwest of Fort Smith is scary. On a day like today, when we have plenty of instability, there's plenty of spin in the air, if a dominant supercell can kind of take hold and sort of like the Northwest Arkansas supercell last May, becomes cyclic where it just kind of spins and spins and doesn't really stop, produces multiple tornadoes. That's the vibe I'm getting from this, and it is moving off to the east-northeast into the vicinity of Fort Smith. So friends and family, I'm from the Greenwood area, Hackett area. I'm from the Fort Smith region. If I have any friends or family watching this, a lot of you live in that area. This is a storm that you really need to pay attention to, and if you get warnings on your phone, sirens start going off because of this storm, definitely need to take it serious. I obviously live here too, so have to deal with that accordingly, but certainly want anyone who lives in that area to take close mind of that. And I know that I do have some people that follow in eastern Oklahoma too, in LaFleur County, places like Wilburton, Quinton, Stigler. There's tornado warnings now near Wilburton, Hartshorn, and Quinton. This is going to continue moving off to the east-northeast towards LaFleur County and Sequoia County possibly, into the Fort Smith region there in the Arkansas-Oklahoma state lines. So really concerning for the moment. This is certainly in the immediate term, This storm here, yeah, not a fan. Not a fan at all. We need that thing to kind of just go away. And then, of course, we have the tornado warning up here, too. Not trying to discount the storm up in northeast Oklahoma either. There's a tornado warning here that we're going to have to watch for Benton County. So we've got two storms right now of note. Certainly the southerly one. I mean, folks, this one, like I said earlier, I don't cover Oklahoma, so don't call me out on anything about town names and whatnot. But this circulation right here between Savannah and Hartshorn was really strong. Right there, I can circle it so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. But circulation right there was really strong. That's when it got towards Hartshorn, it sort of fizzled a little bit. My hope is that this storm, as it moves into western Arkansas, will lose the tornado, the circulation and all that good stuff, and just become more of a windbag, produce strong winds. We can deal with that, maybe some hail, but lose the tornado threat. Austin, this is nowhere near flipping, man. This is still in Oklahoma, so it'll be a while before anything like that gets up there. Kathy is asking about northeast Arkansas. Not really expecting a whole lot. Might get some storms late tonight, but the severe weather risk is pretty low. Very low, as a matter of fact. Sorry, I didn't hit my mic. Yeah, Tabitha Martin says there are no current tornado warnings in the state. And she's right. We don't have anything. Generally, in a time like this, I would hop off the live coverage, and because I don't really do severe thunderstorm warnings, but with us having the tornado warnings in Oklahoma headed this way, along with we have confirmed damaging tornadoes there near McAllister, Hartshorn, Wilburton, I would like to stay live and just address this because not a fan of how that looks. Ashley Ward says, do we still need to be ready for tornadoes in Silo and Benton County? There is a tornado warning west of Benton County right now in Oklahoma, so we'll see. Yeah, there's nothing in Springdale right now. Brittany says, Zach, what time are we talking about? You look stressed. Well, I'm not going to lie. I'm a little stressed. I live here in western Arkansas near Fort Smith, and this storm to the southwest looks like a problem child. So I might eventually have to deal with that too here at the house. It should be within the next hour or so. I think it'll be here. Gina, will you please ban the Seymour Dozen May from... I don't want people promoting random stuff in the comments, please, on YouTube. You're just spamming. Cam, I don't storm chase in Arkansas anymore, brother. I do live weather coverage like this. I've been doing this all spring. Thank you, FZX, for that. I'm going to read that MD real quick. I appreciate it, Tabitha. Trying to ease my mind. I'm good. I mean, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. This is my job and all that, but I'm a storm chaser at heart, and if there's a damaging tornado headed my way, I'm going to get in the storm tracker. It's parked in the garage, and I get out of the way, and I'll just cover it from the car. That way you guys know a little bit of what's going on. But we have a plan here at the house, me and the family, so... So the National Weather Service, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys this real quick and pull off the radar for just a moment. This is from the National Weather Service. This is called a mesoscale discussion. Shout out to whoever that was in the YouTube channel. But the National Weather Service is highlighting western Arkansas and says that a new tornado watch will be needed, which will likely include parts of eastern Oklahoma into west central Arkansas. I'm not saying this to scare anyone. This is from the National Weather Service. This is straight from them, but they are referencing that there is potential for probable peak intensity of tornadoes, 140 miles per hour to 170 mile per hour winds. So we're talking strong to maybe even violent tornado potential, along with wind gusts, straight line damaging wind gusts, 75 to 90 miles an hour, along with hail sizes over 2 inches. So this is a higher end 95% watch probability, very high-end tornado watch for western Arkansas. Specifically, I feel like the National Weather Service is most interested in areas near Fort Smith, Greenwood, down to Mena. You can see these looping lines here these are called hodographs or vertical wind profiles. Very favorable for tornadoes tonight in western Arkansas near Fort Smith, Van Buren, Alma, Mena, Greenwood, Waldron. Areas to the east, Charleston, Franklin, and Logan counties, kind of that section of the state. And you can see the storm that we've been talking about is entering that mesoscale discussion area. So a new tornado watch. They had a tornado watch issued earlier today until 7 o'clock. So this is just a new tornado watch for the area. My phone is blowing up right now. Jamie says, no touchdown, stop fear-mongering. Well, Jamie, we don't even have a tornado warning in Arkansas. I don't know what you're talking about, brother. Jack says, more around the Rudy Mountainburg. I'm sorry, Jack, I'm not sure what you're asking. Ashley says, how does that J Oklahoma warning look? Well, we can look at it together. Not bad. So the circulation is here between Salina and Bull Hollow and I don't know how to say that, Bull Hollow, Oklahoma. It's right here, and this is moving off to the east-northeast and could eventually impact far northwestern Arkansas, specifically Benton County. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's 6:16 p.m. That should be in Benton County within the next 30 to 45 minutes. So we'll keep an eye on that. And then, of course, we have a very powerful supercell in eastern Oklahoma right now near Wilburton and Hartshorn that is eventually going to move off to the east-northeast into the Fort Smith region. Don't know for sure how that will follow. We also have another circulation here near Gore, Oklahoma along I-40. You can see these little, folks, some strong winds that are gusting out with this. Kind of want to, I know it's been quiet south of northwest Arkansas near Fort Smith and Van Buren and whatnot, but I want to reiterate that we're kind of just getting started here. Things do look messy. I'm not a huge fan of messy storm mode, but these storms are proving that it really doesn't matter right now. They're still producing tornadoes, circulations. We're having tornado warnings. So, but we are tornado warning free as of 6:20 p.m. Forecast, pigs will fly. Some of the YouTube comments are hilarious. Chris, unfortunately, I think Faulkner County will eventually observe some storms late tonight, but nothing right now. Nothing imminent of concern. Zach, same thing for Greenbrier. The storms later, but it'll be later and the severe weather risk is not high. Is Northwest Arkansas expecting more stuff, says Mattia Lopez? Yes. Northwest Arkansas is going to get more storms here within the hour. Andrea's asking about the Paris area. So Paris is in Logan County, east of Fort Smith. It's going to probably be an hour and a half or so before those storms make it to you. Hour, 2 hours. Can you talk more about what the National Weather Service said? Yeah, so definitely. If you'll give me just a moment, I can pull that back up. For those of you who are just now joining, we do likely have a new tornado watch coming soon for western Arkansas, and the National Weather Service is very concerned about tornado potential in this region. Specifically the Fort Smith, Greenwood, Mansfield, down to Mena, Van Buren, Alma area. You can see they highlighted this, circled it in red, and they have their most probable peak intensities 140 to 170 miles per hour. So they are suggesting that there is potential in west central Arkansas for strong violent tornadoes. With wind gusts 75 to 90 miles per hour. We're talking about straight line winds. And then hail sizes over 2 inches. So big hail possible too. And this is a 95% watch probability, which means that there is a tornado watch coming soon for this part of the state. The wind profiles are very favorable for tornadoes in western Arkansas this evening. Storms are a little messy, so it could negate it to an extent, but we'll see. Sometimes whenever it comes to messy storm mode, I just have to kind of be made a believer, because I feel like storm mode can really have an impact on tornadoes. But the storms tonight have still prevailed and produced circulations. And then this storm here near Wilburton, Oklahoma is very impressive. I mean, this is a strong tornado likely. For those of you who have ever been to Wilburton, yeah, I mean, that's likely a tornado ongoing now between Wilburton and Hartshorn, right there. Definitely a strong tornado. So, I mean, and the guys, this is a messy storm mode, and this storm is still producing tornadoes. So, that's basically the weather saying, Zach, we don't really care what you say about storm mode. We're still going to produce tornadoes. I don't cover Oklahoma, but if you know somebody who lives in Wilburton, Oklahoma, I used to go to church camp near Wilburton at Robbers Cave. I think that's what it was called. So I'm somewhat familiar with the area, but if you know somebody that lives in Wilburton, maybe Red Oak or even Kenta, Oklahoma, you might give them a phone call and let them know that a tornado's on the ground near town. But that's a really strong tornado, guys. And I'm not saying this to scare anybody. Folks, this is 60 miles from Fort Smith, 60 miles from the state line. This thing's moving probably around 55 miles an hour, so it's going to be here within the hour in western Arkansas. Hopefully by that time it's not doing this. Lord forbid. I live over here, so really don't want that, but there is some pretty dire concern tonight for tornadoes in this part of the state. Fort Smith has had nothing today. Northwest Arkansas has had some activity, some tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings. This part of the state hasn't had anything outside of maybe some showers. That's not going to do anything to damp or to wash the thermodynamic profile out. The wind profiles are favorable. There's plenty of instability. So it's a good reason to be concerned. Still watching this tornado warning 2 in northeast Oklahoma headed for Benton County. It doesn't look as impressive as it did earlier. It's nothing like that storm to the south, and it's not even in the same ballpark. This is just bonkers, man. Once again, I don't cover Oklahoma. I don't want anyone thinking that I'm overstepping my lanes, but I mean, this is pretty close. We're a couple of counties away from the state line here, and I mean, folks, velocity couplets like this. This is what I'm looking at here. This right here is. I've been doing this for a minute, and when you see something like this, that's a tornado. That's a strong tornado, maybe a violent tornado. You look at the debris tracker, you can see right there. See that blue shading? I'll put it in the loop here for you. You can see it right there, that dark blue shading. That's the radar suggesting that there's non-meteorological targets being detected. So things that are not rain or hail, trees, maybe if it hits a barn or a home or something, and shrapnel and wood. A very dangerous storm, though, approaching Wilburton, Oklahoma. We have a new tornado warning to the north that we need to discuss that could eventually impact Arkansas too. This is going to be, we talked about this earlier. So the circulation with this one, this is going to be, if downstream impacts into Arkansas would be Crawford and southern Washington County. But the circulation is still well west of the state line. This is near Gore, Oklahoma. You can see the circulation here. Strong winds gusting on the backside of the RFD. You've got the inflow coming back in, wrapped into itself there near Gore. That's crossed I-40 now and is headed for Evening Shade, Dry Creek, Lion Switch, and Greasy, Oklahoma. So, my word, this storm down here is just gnarly, guys. That is unreal. really hope everybody in Wilburton, Oklahoma is in a safe spot, because that is just, the last scan looks a little better. Even, I guess if you want to call it better, that's still pretty bad. My word. Going right over it's traveling right over a highway too. I hope nobody's driving in that area, because if you were to drive into that would be a disaster. A deadly disaster is what it would be. They did issue the severe thunderstorm warning off into northwest Arkansas too. I want to go ahead and cover that after I take a drink of water. There's a tornado warning in northeast Oklahoma, but the severe thunderstorm warning has went ahead and extended out into parts of Benton County. It includes Gentry, Decatur, Gravette, Maysville, Decatur. I think I said Decatur twice. Sulphur Springs. And that's for this storm that's moving in. So Gravette, Decatur, we're about to do it all over again. Another strong storm moving into town here soon. So just a heads up. And then we have our 2 tornado warnings here to the south that are moving towards Arkansas now. Folks, when these storms get to Arkansas, it might get busy for a minute. I hope it doesn't. I hope they settle down some. I'm going to look at some mesoanalysis real quick and kind of see what we're dealing with. So, I want to show you guys something, and I don't normally show this on the stream because I don't want to scare anybody, but I do want to kind of put into hindsight where my mind is on this. Okay, so this is a mesoscale analysis page, the SBC mesoscale analysis, and I'm going to zoom in so you can see it better, but we are looking at a violent tornado parameter. It does a really good job, in my opinion, of registering a parameter space that is favorable for tornadoes that can be strong to violent. So strong tornadoes, EF2 or more. The National Weather Service referenced this area just a few moments ago, and I see why now. There is a bullseye. Fort Smith, Van Buren, Alma, Greenwood, Waldron, Mansfield, Charleston, Boonville, areas around Waldron, I think I've already said. See these contours, how they bullseye in this area? You've got lower values to the east, 0 up in northeast Arkansas, none in western Oklahoma where there's no, and then you've got the bullseye in North Texas. But this is, to me, I mean, storms are going to do what storms want to do, but to me, that's super concerning. Values of 8, 9, 10 near Fort Smith, maxed values just south of Fort Smith. I mean, that tells me that as these storms move into the area, they're going to have more than enough ingredients to produce tornadoes, some possibly strong to even violent. I don't really ever say that unless I have some form of confidence, and I do at this time. So, and guys, and I live here, so like, I'm not just saying crap to scare you or to get a rise out of people. I mean, I literally live in the area we're talking about, so I have to be on my toes as well. But yeah, the next 30 to 45 minutes to an hour, we really need to buckle in and watch this close in western Arkansas. Hopefully these storms struggle. Maybe we go through a downtrend process. Maybe the storms have to cycle a bunch. Too many storm interactions. There's things that can still cause failure modes. So we'll root for that, and that's kind of what we'll just go with here for the next little bit. We don't have any tornado warnings in Arkansas. It's 6:30 right now, but these 2 tornado warnings in eastern Oklahoma are getting fairly close. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning in northwestern Benton County. The tornado warning that was in northeast Oklahoma near Benton County has been canceled, so that's good. I do think for now the highest tornado risk, though, in the next hour to hour and a half is kind of in this area. That's just my opinion. I feel like I do wonder there's quite a bit of rainfall that's moving out into like northern Crawford, southern Washington ahead of this. I wonder if that will have any downstream impacts for this. But guys, here in Fort Smith, Greenwood, Mansfield, Waldron, we've had nothing all day. It's been clear and free. It's humid. There's a lot of moisture, plenty of storm fuel. Rebecca says, you went to Oklahoma to see a tornado and you went and saw a tornado. I trust your judgment. Yeah. Yeah, I did see a tornado yesterday, guys. Me and Gabe, my buddy Gabe Garfield. I've been doing this a minute. I don't know everything, not even close, but I feel like I have somewhat of a handle on it, and I don't like what I see with this. But I hope it goes away. I hope it downtrends. Lisa says, chance for failure modes is the opposite a chance too. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just because the models are saying that there could be violent tornadoes, strong tornadoes, doesn't mean that it's a 100% guarantee. But I don't feel like that model is just going to randomly spit that out. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, there's still failure modes. I think one of the biggest failure modes right now for these storms is there's too many of them. Updrafts raining into each other, storm interactions that are not favorable, storms putting out cold pools, which really inhibits the. Here's the thing, okay? This storm here has been a huge problem child. It's produced strong tornadoes. But if you'll notice here, I'm gonna zoom just a little bit. There's nothing down here. Nothing. So this storm here has access to the world, uninhibited. It's doing whatever it wants to do, and it has done. It's produced several strong tornadoes. These storms up here have a little bit more to compete with at times, so I feel like that causes problems. That's why I think the Fort Smith area, Greenwood, Waldron, Mena, this part of the state, wherever this storm goes, could be an issue. So that's kind of my thought process on that. And guys, you can actually see here if I loop this. Look at that. Look at this storm ingesting inflow right here. You can see the storm is literally ingesting. It is cranking. Obviously in the northern hemisphere, cyclonic flow is counterclockwise. That's why if you see a tornado and it's spinning, it'll likely be spinning counterclockwise because it's cyclonic flow. And this storm is, turning like a cog clockwise or counterclockwise. Hey, buddy.
Bo's been requested by the masses.
You've been requested.
Pull him up.
Me, I want to do.
What, the Fort Smith Fire Department? So these are my kiddos. This is Bo, and this is Rhett. Just so everybody knows, we don't have any tornado warnings in Arkansas right now, so I'm not neglecting anybody. But yeah, this is my kiddos, Bo. This is Rhett, and my wife Jordan. So we're kind of hanging out here, waiting to see what's going to happen with these storms. We're just like all of you. We can hear thunder going outside now. These storms are starting to get closer to us too. So who knows what's going to happen here over the next hour?
Oh, Bo had something he wanted to say.
Yeah, what's up, man? No, don't. We're not doing it. We're not doing the growl stuff. Do you have something you want to say?
That's what he wanted to say.
Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, get out of here, dude! You goofball. Hey, is the laundry room cleaned out?
Oh, hold on, ma'am. Yes, it is. I have one more thing for you.
Can I do the rest of the video with you?
Buddy, there's a lot of people on here watching. You wanna look at it with me for a second while we don't have any tornado warnings?
Mhm.
So, I'll show you what I'm looking at right now.
What's the red right there?
Yeah, you see that? See, you know. So this just produced a really strong
That is
tornado.
It's also been requested that you put on this shirt.
Oh, stop. So, hey, you remember where you went to church camp in Wilburton?
Mhm.
So this is right near Wilburton. See that right there? That's a really strong tornado.
Okay.
So really, you can see the reds and the blues and stuff coming together. The winds coming together. Remember we talked about that the other night?
Okay, but when am I actually gonna have church camp? It's summer, so when am I gonna have it?
Josh said that. Did Josh say that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you're a party pooper, so.
Hey, we take this in there?
I tried.
Yeah.
I tried really hard. There you go.
No, Dad said I can do
He can stay here for a couple minutes. It's fine. We don't have any tornado warnings in Arkansas. So, guys, just to kind of, but you can sit here if you want, bud. Just to kind of give everybody a little bit of an update on kind of where we stand right now in the state. Obviously, I know some of you are maybe watching that don't live in Western Arkansas. We don't really have any activity going on outside of the stuff that's moving into Western Arkansas soon out of Eastern Oklahoma. Okay, I'm going to be real with you. the storms that are moving out of eastern Oklahoma and into western Arkansas, specifically south of northwest Arkansas, towards the Fort Smith area, down to Greenwood, Mena, Paris, Clarksville, are pretty strong. There's severe thunderstorm warnings that have already been issued out to the state line, which tells me that the National Weather Service is confident that we're going to observe significant wind gusts, maybe hail at times. I don't see a whole lot of hail coming out of these storms because they're more of a complex rather than supercellular. But I do think that we could have some tornado warnings at times with this as it moves into western Arkansas. We do have 2 tornado warnings right now that are fairly close. Can I get around you real quick, Red Boy? We do have 2 tornado warnings right now that are fairly close to Arkansas. We have one here in Oklahoma. I think this is Sequoyah County. Right there, northwest of Sallisaw. That's moving off to the east-northeast. That's a horrible arrow. I'm sorry. Right, you gotta stop moving my arm, bud.
Oh, sorry.
That's moving off to the east-northeast between Sallisaw and Stillwell, and that will likely head for northern Crawford, southern Washington County within the hour. And then we have another storm down here that has been a huge problem for producing strong tornadoes between Hartshorn and Wilburton. It produced a tornado near Kiowa, Oklahoma, and that's moving off to the east-northeast. We'll see what it does. Hopefully it goes away soon. That would be great. But that's going to be heading into the vicinity of the Fort Smith area, Sebastian County, Crawford County in general. So we've got a lot to watch right now. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings all up and down the line. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in Benton County right now that includes Gentry, Decatur, Gravette, with the strong thunderstorms that are moving out of northeast Oklahoma. Doesn't look as strong as the storms did earlier, so we'll see what happens with that. But and then we've got all sorts of kind of junk rain that's moving off to the east out ahead of these storms that really obviously aren't doing much. You might be hearing some thunder. We're starting to hear some thunder here at the house, and we have all kinds of storms that go down the line into southern Oklahoma with more tornado warnings that could eventually move into Arkansas tonight. So it's 6:39 p.m. right now. I do feel like the severe weather threat here over the next hour and a half could be maximized when it comes to tornadoes in west central Arkansas.
Greenwood ain't gonna have us. Greenwood ain't in the storm line.
That's in Mississippi, bud. There's a Greenwood, Mississippi.
Oh. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. No, we live in Greenwood here in Arkansas, so.
Oh. We're gonna only have a couple things right here.
Yep. Hopefully we don't have anything, man. That would be nice.
Only if that moves this way, we're not gonna have anything.
Oh. We're gonna have some storms headed this way, though, for sure.
Okay.
You can go to the living room, bud. I'll come get you in a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for helping me out.
Finish the video with you.
Yeah. Thank you for helping me.
Bye.
Bye. Can you shut that door for me? Thanks, man. That was my oldest son, Rhett. He loves looking at weather stuff with me. He's 7. So yeah, guys, that's kind of a reset on where I generally, obviously we don't have any tornado warnings right now, so I don't generally stay alive for this, but I do want to look. Somebody just made a comment about a new MD. I want to make sure I pull that up real quick. It sounds like they're referencing west central Arkansas, which is just not good. So, once again, guys, I'm not sharing this to scare you or make you panic, but we're going to talk about it, okay? We're going to talk about it together, and we're going to discuss it. So, and I want to remind you that I live in this circle, so, I'm with you on this. The National Weather Service is suggesting that there's a very high likelihood for strong tornadoes within the next 2 hours plus in the Fort Smith, Greenwood, Van Buren, Alma, eastern Oklahoma, Poto area. So, yeah, not fun. So, referencing strong tornadoes, if you live in Fort Smith or Van Buren or Alma, or if you live in Greenwood, if you live in Cameron, Oklahoma, Poto, Oklahoma, if you live in Roland, if you live in Cedarville, I'm just spitballing communities and towns that I know for sure in that little circle. I'm talking about this red circle right here. Okay? The National Weather Service is suggesting that there's a really strong corridor. They said 8 to 9 p.m. I think it's fair to say that from 7 to 9, as these storms move into the region, that there's a good likelihood for strong tornadoes. So peak intensities of 140 miles per hour up to 170 miles per hour. So we're talking upper echelon tornadoes, EF2, EF3 or stronger. And then, of course, along with that, you have wind gusts 75 to 90 miles an hour, along with hail sizes of 2-inch plus. So hopefully this does not happen. Hopefully we don't have any strong tornadoes. But when the National Weather Service starts highlighting regions like this, folks, these are the best in the world. These meteorologists that do these highlights like this, these mesoscale discussions, are some of the best in the entire world, and I trust their judgment. So I feel like it's very fair to say that this is legit. We have tornado warnings that are expanding up towards this region, so I'm going to stay live with this. So if you live in the Fort Smith area, if you live in Sebastian County, Crawford County, Franklin County, western sections of Logan County, I wouldn't judge you one bit if you start kind of getting that stuff together, figuring out maybe what's best. I'm going to go ahead and call my dad real quick, call my mom. I'm sorry, guys, but my mom and dad live here, so I'm going to call and make sure she's probably watching right now. I'm going to make sure she knows about this real quick before we talk about the rest of the stuff. Hey, are you watching the stream or are you guys busy? Okay, well, obviously then you heard that I'm calling you. I'm sure you've heard what I've been talking about, but do you mind letting Colby know what's coming to? I don't know if he's watching, but... Okay, well, I'm not trying to make you panic or anything, but the tornado risk in the next hour or two is really high, higher than usual. So, okay. Okay, cool. All right, well, okay, awesome. Well, if you guys need... Yeah, love you too. Call me if you need something. Bye. That was my mom. She lives in my mom and dad live in Fort Smith. My brother does too. So, based off that information from the National Weather Service and the warnings that are now extending up towards the area, I feel like it's really fair to say that we'll likely have some tornado warnings here pretty soon in the Fort Smith Greenwood-ish vicinity, maybe more so in Crawford County. It looks like this is arcing up to the north a little bit more. So, Kim, as far as Fayetteville goes, right now I don't have anything in Fayetteville. There's no severe thunderstorm warnings. I think the tornado risk is higher south of Fayetteville right now. It's not zero in Fayetteville or northwest Arkansas, but you will have thunderstorms, some strong, moving into northwest Arkansas, the Fayetteville, Springdale, Rogers, and Bella Vista, Bentonville area. But for right now, as of 6:45 p.m., the tornado threat is maximized in this area. It's rather high. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm going to pull up the Storm Prediction Center. It sucks when you live here, when you live in the area they're talking about, because just not fun. Not fun at all. Trying to balance this work. You've got family. I have family here, so I've never really been in this situation before. This stuff near Wilburton and Quinton, Stigler, and then of course the circulation here. This is that's a pretty good little circulation there just north of Evening Shade, Oklahoma, that could eventually move off to the east. Oh yeah, look at that. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a tornado on the ground with that. There is a tornado on the ground with that. Right here. This is west of Greasy, Oklahoma. There's your circulation there. We have debris, visible debris on radar from that. That's a confirmed tornado. And this is moving off to the east-northeast towards Lyons Switch, Oklahoma. Just a heads up downstream. That could eventually move into sections of Washington County, western Washington County. It looks like it would stay north of Crawford County. So a heads up on that one. And then we have what's left of the circulation that produced the tornadoes near Wilburton earlier. And this looks like that's going through a cycle. So I think it's also fair to say that regardless if you're impacted by a tornado or not in the Fort Smith area, Cedarville, Van Buren, Greenwood, you're about to encounter strong thunderstorms that could have significant wind gust. I'm sure the National Weather Service will extend the severe thunderstorm warnings well out into west central Arkansas soon, and likely up into northwest Arkansas too. The severe weather risk is highest today in west central northwest Arkansas, this part of the state, kind of in this area. If you don't live in western Arkansas, if you live in central Arkansas, north central, northeast Arkansas, you could still observe thunderstorms late tonight. I think the severe weather risk late tonight, though, will be quite a bit lower than it is right now. It's kind of at its peak right now through the next hour or two. Hopefully we can start winding down after that. And the National Weather Service has went ahead and issued a new tornado watch that does include a large part of the state. So I'm going to go ahead and get this posted on Facebook real quick for you guys. This is a new tornado watch. We'll go over it in just a second together. Okay, new tornado watch posted on Facebook. I get it posted on Twitter too, and then we'll start discussing some of this other stuff. I need a phone charger. My phone is almost dead. I didn't even realize it. Looks like we've got a pretty good hook forming on that north storm. Look at the hook here. West of Cherry Tree. This storm was the one that was on the ground earlier. Yeah, definitely. Wonder if it's still on the ground. Yeah, looks like it still is. So right here, folks, this is debris. There's a tornado on the ground between Dry Creek, Greasy, and Cherry Tree, Oklahoma. Heads up, Washington County, southwest Washington County. That storm is going to likely move into your direction in the relative future within the next 30 minutes. You can see the hook here, embedded supercell, info notch, tornado located right here. And then we have another tornado warning down here near Stigler. It's southwest of Spiro, near Panama. And this is going to continue off to the east-northeast. This storm is cycling. This storm is going through a cycle process. This storm has produced several strong tornadoes. It's going through what looks like an occlusion process, handing off and doing all sorts of stuff. Lots of wind involved with this regardless of tornado potential. I would imagine the National Weather Service, due to the history of this storm, will likely continue to issue tornado warnings with time. It looks like there's another tornado warning too here. Oh, I didn't even see that. My bad. There's another circulation there near Tenkiller, right here. And then, of course, we've got our one down here. So we've got two circulations that are moving off, arcing to the east-northeast towards Washington County, eastern Oklahoma, too. A lot of wind behind that, too, folks. Inbound winds well over 60 miles an hour. This is not that far from the radar site. Still maybe aloft a little bit, but that's a heads up. They're going to issue the severe thunderstorm warnings out. The National Weather Service has already issued the tornado warning into Washington County. So If you live in western Washington County near Prairie Grove, the warning doesn't include Prairie Grove. I'm just trying to give you a reference. What is it? That's Highway 59. Let me pull up my map real quick. Tornado threat looks like it's starting to increase, guys. I think this is kind of what the National Weather Service was afraid of, is we're going to get numerous of these circulations that kind of arc up to the east and to the north. So a circulation here, if you live anywhere on Highway 59 southwest of Prairie Grove, like close to the Oklahoma-Arkansas state line, you are in this polygon. So here's Highway 59 that runs to the south. It kind of really skirts the border there to the Washington County, Crawford County line. Highway 62 runs here and then back towards Prairie Grove. So this is 62, excuse my drawing. This is 59 right here. If you live anywhere along Highway 62 or 59, just know you have a circulation here that has a history and could still be producing a tornado right now, and it's moving to the east-northeast towards 59, towards 62. Could eventually impact Prairie Grove, Greenland, maybe in the not-too-distant future, Fayetteville. Not yet. There's no warning for Fayetteville, Greenland, or West Fork, or Prairie Grove. But that could be a problem in the future. So really want to watch that close. Could be, unfortunately, could be a problem if it maintains. And then we have the other warning here near Tenkiller, and that's moving off to the east-northeast too. That could eventually impact other parts of Washington County with time. And they do have a severe thunderstorm warning that is expanded all of, well, not all, but most of Benton and Washington County. This includes Bella Vista, Rogers, Bentonville, Springdale, Fayetteville, Prairie Grove, a large chunk of western Washington County and western Benton, central Benton County, severe thunderstorm warning. I would fully expect for the National Weather Service to soon issue severe thunderstorm warnings too for all of like Sebastian and Crawford, maybe even Franklin counties, due to the storms that are moving out of Oklahoma near Fort Smith soon. So. But this is the only activity that we have right now in the state. It's focused here in western Arkansas and will likely be focused in western Arkansas for a while. There is the severe thunderstorm warning. They went ahead and issued that out, so we can talk about that now. Fort Smith, Barling, Greenwood, Alma, Cedarville. It's about to get noisy, guys. These are going to be some pretty strong storms when they move in. We'll read the text from the National Weather Service on this. If you live in Van Buren, Alma, Cedarville, this is a considerable threat. So the National Weather Service says severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending all the way from Marietta, north of Bingle, moving east at 40. 70-mile-an-hour winds possible max with this. So we're talking 70-mile-an-hour winds possible in parts of Sebastian and Crawford County, southern Washington County as well. Really need to take this serious. If you give me just a second. Discussing safety plans with family, guys. I really feel like this storm down here was the one that, we've been keeping an eye on for about the last hour. And there's still a circulation there near Kenta, Oklahoma, moving off to the east-northeast towards Stigler and Keota. We'll see how that storm evolves. several tornado warnings, one which does include a part of Arkansas, specifically Washington County. Circulation doesn't look as good as it did a few moments ago. It was producing a tornado earlier here near Dry Creek and Cherry Creek as it moved up towards Lions Switch, Oklahoma. This is moving up towards the circulation center. It looks like it's right here by Lions Switch, and that's moving off to the east-northeast into southwestern Washington County, Highway 59, Highway 62, southwest of Prairie Grove. And then, of course, we have our severe thunderstorm warnings from northwest Arkansas down into Sebastian, Crawford, and parts of eastern Oklahoma, too. Guys, I'm just going to go ahead and let you know now. I live in this area. I've said that a few times now. There's a really good chance that if these storms move through and have the strength that they're showing, that I could lose power. Of course, I will do whatever I can to get back on and live as quick as I can. Obviously, if we have tornado warnings, I have to go shelter with the family if I need to. So we'll have to take that into account as well. But I'm going to be here and ride this out with you guys as long as I can. Obviously, I'm going to do what's best to keep my family safe. But I live over here, so I'm in it with you guys too, if you live in this part of the state. So we're just going to ride this out together. I know that a lot of you are likely wondering about the new tornado watch. We'll go ahead and share that real quick, and then we'll get back to the tornado warning that includes parts of Washington County. The new tornado watch includes a large chunk of Arkansas. Mainly the western half and some of the northern parts of the state. But I will pull that up and we can look at that together real quick. So this is, did I lose it? What's going on here? Hey brother, I'm live on air right now. What you got? It's okay. Yeah, I would definitely recommend doing that, buddy. You definitely don't need to be driving in that storm, okay? Yeah, no problem. Yeah, be safe. Call me if you need me, okay? All right, see ya. Bye. So this is the tornado watch, guys, and this goes until 2 a.m. And it includes a large chunk of Arkansas. It includes all the way down to Texarkana. So all the way down to Texarkana, all up the western section of the state through Fort Smith, Fayetteville, Mountain Home, Russellville, Hot Springs. Does not include Little Rock, does not include Searcy, it doesn't include Jonesboro. Basically, if you live south, southeast, and east of Little Rock, you're safe tonight on tornado watches for now. We'll see if they issue additionals. I doubt they do. But for now, this is kind of what we're working with. If you live west or north of Little Rock or southwest of Little Rock to an extent, there's a good chance that you're under a tornado watch. Tornado watches are the counties in yellow until 2 a.m. tonight. And the National Weather Service stated that there are several tornadoes likely. We could have widespread hail up to softball size with this and widespread wind gusts up to 80 miles an hour. And 1.8 million people are impacted by that tornado watch. So that does include some of Oklahoma as well. So that's kind of what we're dealing with here. You can see we have strong thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms moving into western Arkansas now. Most of the state, pretty chill right now. That's about to change. These storms are eventually going to move east into the region, and that will include this part of the state too. I think this is like kind of what we just talked about, the better chances for severe, maybe north and west of Little Rock. Some of the storms might not get to you until late tonight, especially if you live like in central Arkansas or north central or northeast Arkansas. Hopefully by that time they're really waning and not as strong to severe, but there's a good chance that a lot of us will see some action tonight when it comes to rain and storms. The highest tornado risk, though, by far, in my opinion, is in the western half of the state, close to Fort Smith, Clarksville, Danville, northwest Arkansas south. So, and that's kind of where the tornado warnings have been today and where they're expected today. Yeah, I have no idea, Clay. I mean, if a tornado happened, what the EF scale would be beforehand, buddy. I have no clue. Really watching this, though, moving into Washington County. Let's go over to the big map real quick. We've kind of been off of this for a minute, not talking about it. We need to be talking about this more. So if you live in the community of Summers, if you live near the Summers Baptist Church, if you live on Young Road, Summers Mountain Road, if you live on Boston Road, if you live on County Road 676 or 3622 near Price Creek, certainly want you to be in your safe spot. You've got 2 tornado warnings for that area. Highway 62 runs to the south and intersects with Highway 59 right here. And the polygon, of course, includes that. There are, guys, this is not a big population center, but there east of that is Lincoln. Lincoln is right on the edge of the polygon here, but if you're in Lincoln, I certainly would encourage you to be sheltered on this. Get your safe spot. Prairie Grove isn't included either, but could be in the near future, depending on how this circulation evolves. But certainly anybody that lives on 59 from Dutch Mills North, not even Dutch Mills North, I mean, maybe as far south as Evansville. Yeah, I mean, if you live in Evansville, Tolu, the 59-244 interchange, if you live in the community of Morrow, Clyde, Cane Hill, south of Lincoln, if you live on Bush Valley Road, East Sugar Hill Road, Little Road, Salem Springs Road. Guys, I'm just naming off county roads that branch off of 59 and go over to Lincoln and Summers. Certainly want you to be in your safe spot before this gets there. See if I can answer a couple questions. I know this is kind of a stressful time for some of you. Cassie says, when should I head to shelter? I'm in Flippin, Marion, Arkansas. There's nothing anywhere close to you right now, but within the next few hours, you'll likely have storms move in, but nothing imminent right now, okay? Madison says, seems like Sulphur Springs is just getting a lot of rain right now. It looks like the worst of it is starting to move east of you if you're in Sulphur Springs. Gravette, kind of the same thing. The worst of it is now moving through and moving to the east of you. Hannah says, what's the time frame for Alma and Mountainburg? Within the hour. We have storms moving in soon to Crawford and Sebastian counties. Some which could be strong to severe 70-mile-an-hour wind gusts are possible, along with some hail. And I can't rule out tornadoes either. My phone is just absolutely exploding right now, guys. I'm sorry. I did just get a report from Carly Schwartz. She does a great job of feeding me information on severe weather days. She said, confirmed reports of severe damage and homes leveled near Pittsburgh, Oklahoma. I don't know where Pittsburgh, Oklahoma is off the top of my head, but I wonder if it's anywhere near Wilburton or Hartshorn or in this area, because we had a really strong tornado earlier in that area. That storm has now moved off to the east and is honestly kind of headed in my direction down in here. But it's about to get noisy, folks, in the Fort Smith, Van Buren, Alma, Cedarville, Mountainburg area. Carly, thank you for the report. Eureka Springs, chance of a tornado? There are chances. Storms haven't really moved into your area yet, but they will soon. Folks, for anyone following from Sebastian County, Franklin County, Crawford, parts of Washington County, we are under a tornado warning. It's going to get to a point here in a minute where this entire line or segment of storms moves in, and it's going to be strong no matter where you live. Some might have it worse than others, but there's going to be periods of gusty winds. There's going to be heavy rainfall, maybe some hail at times. And then, of course, there's a tornado risk as well in spots. There's not going to be 100 tornadoes up and down the line, but we could have embedded pockets of rotation to deal with like we're dealing with here. It looks like the circulation here is actually near Peavine in Fairfield, Oklahoma. I want to reiterate for my Lincoln people, which is in Washington County, if you're in Lincoln, really want everyone to be sheltered there. So the tornado warning that was near Wilburton and whatnot has been canceled, so that's good news. Hopefully we can maintain that. But I'm going to be watching this area very close for any rotation. The tornado potential in this region is fairly high over the next hour. But they just have a severe thunderstorm warning for now that expands down the line from Cedarville, Fort Smith, and so on. And then all of northwest Arkansas, essentially, guys. I mean, from southern Crawford through northern Benton County, all of our metro centers, Fayetteville, Springdale, Bentonville, Rogers, Bella Vista, Siloam is all under severe thunderstorm warnings right now. Significant wind gusts are possible, all kinds of rainfall, hail at times, and then, of course, tornado potential too. These storms are moving in messy, which is great. But as we have seen tonight, it really doesn't matter at times. We've still had circulations. We still have had tornadoes. So I think right now, though, we might be transitioning. I'm not going to say away from a tornado threat because there is a tornado threat, but I think there's a legitimate wind threat with this too. 70 plus miles per hour in spots. Looking at the velocities, coming into Fort Smith here, these are inbound winds, of course. Obviously, the winds are a little bit stronger if you go off to the west here because that radar beam's starting to go aloft a little bit. But the winds coming into Fort Smith could be somewhat strong. Look up at northwest Arkansas. Yeah, I think it would be the same. Some of the winds that are moving into northwest Arkansas could be gusty too. Waiting on a new scan. This is a couple of minutes old. This circulation, though, looks like it's going to be close to Lincoln. The Lincoln, between Lincoln and Westville area, that Highway 62 region, west of Prairie Grove. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to make sure I'm not missing any updates. Obviously, folks, if you're sending me messages right now, I can't get to that right now. I'll try to check them as soon as I can. Try not to get too overwhelmed with reports and messages and comments and stuff, along with balancing this. Sorry. That might have been a little noisy in the mic. Sawyer, we do have a tornado warning in Washington County. That's the only tornado warning we have right now. The circulation is right here near Peavine, Oklahoma, headed for Lincoln. This is moving off to the east-northeast. Lincoln is right here. Lincoln technically is not in the polygon. I would expect the National Weather Service to do something with these polygons soon. Relatively soon, that is, because we're kind of running out of time there on our polygon. I wonder if that's going to be expanded out to Fayetteville, Greenland, or I don't know how the National Weather Service is going to handle it. Joel says, where is a big chance that there could be a tornado? Well, the tornado risk really is fairly high right now across western Arkansas. So anywhere from areas from Mena north, the risk is fairly potent for tornadoes this evening. But right now, storms are more linear, more in a segment, which means that it could promote more of a damaging wind concern. We'll see. That doesn't mean tornadoes can happen, but they did expand the tornado warning out. I figured they would, towards Fayetteville. So, folks, let me make a couple things clear. This does include the city of Fayetteville. It does include the 49 corridor from West Fort to Greenland, Fayetteville, up towards Johnson. This does include, obviously we've been talking about Lincoln for quite a while. It does include Lincoln. It includes Prairie Grove too. Obviously, we talked about Fayetteville and Greenland. The circulation is right in here, and it's moving off to the east-northeast towards the areas we mentioned. So if you live in Lincoln, if you live in Prairie Grove, if you live anywhere near Fayetteville or Greenland, need to be headed to the safe spot. Need to be headed to wherever you go when you have a tornado warning, whether that's a storm shelter or whatever it might be. Guys, I will be right back. I have got to use the bathroom. I've got a bathroom next to the office here. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm so sorry, guys. Thank you for letting me know, Jordan. My mic was muted. Sorry, guys. I had to use the restroom earlier. That's why my sound was muted. This storm produced a tornado moments ago west of Lincoln. This is a confirmed tornado per the National Weather Service. It looks like it may have lifted briefly. Judging by the velocity, I'd say that's a fair assessment. It looks like it was strongest on the Arkansas-Oklahoma border just west of Lincoln. So But still, this storm could be going through a cycle process. So if you live in Lincoln, Prairie Grove, Greenland, Farmington, or Fayetteville, this storm has a history of producing tornadoes. Like we have proof that it's produced tornadoes. So really want everybody to be sheltered or in your safe spot if you live in Lincoln, Prairie Grove, Farmington, or Fayetteville. We'll check on... Oh, it looks like this storm's trying to spin back up. Yeah. Folks, we need to watch this storm too, southwest of Fort Smith, near Poto. Panama, Shady Point, and Cameron. My Hackett people, if you live south of Fort Smith, up Greenwood, Midland, we need to watch this one real close. This storm has produced a couple of strong tornadoes today, and it looks like it's trying to spin up again. We'll keep a close eye on it. But we do have this tornado warning here that just produced a tornado west of Lincoln. We have severe thunderstorms all down the line. That's why I said earlier, it really doesn't matter where you are in western Arkansas tonight, like north of Mena. Mena could be included soon too. You're going to get some strong thunderstorm activity out of this eventually. And we have severe thunderstorm warnings from Sebastian through Crawford, Washington, Benton. And this is going to expand with time. I would imagine they're going to continue issuing those warnings too. I do not like the way this looks here west of Poto. Right there. I don't like that. The Lincoln storm may be cycling. This storm produced a tornado not long ago near Lincoln. I think it's going through a cycle process now as it moves closer to Lincoln, or it might be over Lincoln now. This is a 7:18 p.m. scan. It's 7:20 now. Folks, if you're in Prairie Grove, really want you to be sheltered in your safe spots, wherever that might be. Same goes for Fayetteville. If you have a child, which I don't know the graduation dates or anything like that. Hopefully kiddos aren't at Fayetteville campus. Kiddos, either adults, but if you have anybody that lives in Fayetteville, friends or family, you might give them a call and let them know, if they don't already know, that they're under a tornado warning. The same goes for Prairie Grove and Greenland. Farmington too. A pretty good chunk of Washington County is included in this warning. And the National Weather Service still has this listed as a observed tornado. And judging by the velocity, this thing's coming back together here between Lincoln and Prairie Grove. Right here. So if you live in Prairie Grove, you're running out of time. It's going to be over you soon. I got like 15 texts telling me that I was muted earlier. Thank you guys for letting me know. This is going to be in Fayetteville-ish area. It's going to be in the region, Fayetteville, Farmington region, within the next 20 minutes. It's between Lincoln and Prairie Grove now. I may be generous with that time. These are moving pretty quick. Folks, if you live in South Sebastian County, you need to pay very close attention to this storm near Shady Point, Oklahoma. Poto. This is going to be moving off to the northeast. It's already trying to spin up. This is the storm that produced some tornadoes earlier near Wilburton, Oklahoma. It's went through a cycle process and could cause us some problems here within the hour. Maybe not even within the hour, within the next 45 minutes. Could be some hail in there too. But the circulation has certainly tightened up between Lincoln and Prairie Grove. I think we have a tornado on the ground between Lincoln and Prairie Grove right here. Let me zoom in on this, guys. Right there. See these blue dots? That's debris. If you have people that live in Prairie Grove, you need to call them immediately. There's a tornado on the ground in Washington County right now, moving into Prairie Grove. It likely just did damage in Lincoln. I'm trying to see if I have any reports of anything. It's obviously not dark yet. It's a dangerous storm. Folks, if you live in Fayetteville, this storm's already produced 2 tornadoes now in Washington County within the last 30 minutes. It's between Lincoln and Prairie Grove now, likely in Prairie Grove, moving into Prairie Grove on the western side of town. And it appears that it just produced a tornado in Lincoln. Still waiting on some updated scans there. Yeah, no, it's unless this is an artifact, a radar artifact, which I don't think it is. I think that's legit. Right here, guys. So this is, look at the map. It's on Highway 62. It's just south of 62, near the 45 intersection, is where it looks to me that this tornado would be. When you're coming into Prairie Grove on the southwest side on Highway 62, you branch off on the 214. It'll take you into town. Or you can stay on 62. It loops you around town. It's kind of like a bypass. And it looks to me like this is going to kind of skirt that area. On Mock Street intersects 62. If you live anywhere in that area, the National Weather Service likely still has this listed, I would hope. Yeah, there's an observed tornado still. Yeah, no, that's 100% a tornado. There may have been 2. But this right here is this is the area of interest, guys. Right there. Between Lincoln and Prairie Grove, close to, if not just southeast of Highway 62, near the Highway 45 interchange. Greasy Valley Road, Parks Corner, Apple Hill Road. See if it's still on the ground. Oh yeah, it's still on the ground. Tornado on the ground, moving south of Prairie Grove now. Guys, we have a new tornado warning too. That's southwest of Fort Smith. Folks, I'm going to pull off this tornado real quick and talk about our other tornado warning. I'm sorry. Before I leave this, guys, we have a tornado on the ground south of Prairie Grove now, moving east. If you live anywhere near Hawkeye, Prairie Grove, 265 and 156, please be in your safe spot because there's a tornado on the ground. It's moving east. We have a new tornado warning that includes eastern sections of LaFleur County, and this is going to eventually include, if it persists, a large chunk of Sebastian County, I would expect. It looks like this is moving. It looks like the circulation was strongest here near Shady Point. This is all coming together. It's going to be kind of tough to see. The radar site's right here in Fort Smith, so it might make it a little bit tough to see. But this is going to continue east-northeast over the next 20 to 30 minutes, and we'll touch base on this, especially if the warning is extended into the Fort Smith area. But let me get back to the confirmed tornado here in Washington County. Yeah, so luckily it appears that this tornado passed just south of town, right here. You can see the blue dot moving from left to right, right there. But, of course, this is still a damaging tornado, so not a good situation. But this is continuing off to the east. Hopefully this will stay south of Fayetteville, but it looks like it's headed eastbound. Greenland and Fayetteville and Farmington need to be sheltered for sure because this might be going through a cycle process soon. Yeah, you can see the debris here, just southeast of Prairie Grove, moving off to the east. Greenland, 49. If you know anybody traveling south or north on 49 near Fayetteville now, you need to call them and tell them to stop immediately because they could be literally driving into a damaging tornado. If you live in Greenland, you need to be in your safe spot pretty quick. Really watching this storm close here south of Fort Smith, guys. Already producing a tornado warning now. They have the polygon angled up to the northeast towards Fort Smith, but I wonder if that will persist, if they will switch that here in just a moment. I think this storm is still trying to organize. Oh yeah, it's definitely trying to organize. This is going to be kind of interesting to see because the Fort Smith radar site's right here in South Fort Smith. So we're getting good low-level samples of this storm near Shady Point, Oklahoma. And as it continues off to the east, we should have good data on it. This is really close to where I live too, guys. So I'm going to have to watch this one really close, unfortunately. But this is a powerful storm. This is an embedded supercell for sure. And they went ahead and issued a new tornado warning out. Several areas now included. It looks like the circulation it looks like it did a little bit of a handoff here. Oh, wow. We've got a strong tornado now over Greenland. We might have two tornadoes ongoing. We've got a tornado on I-49 right now near Greenland. The blue circle is debris. That's debris from a tornado. Here's the circulation right over town. Let me read the text from the National Weather Service. Still an observed tornado. This is a little bit old information, but yeah, no, definitely. That's right over 49 right now. Do we have an iDrive camera there? See if we can get a look at this. Yeah, no, that's a tornado over Greenland right now, guys. In Washington County. And this is a observed tornado on the ground, not to be confused with just a radar indicated tornado. This is 100% on the ground. Right here. Right over Interstate 49. Could be a big tornado. That's a significant debris signature there north of Greenland. There's traffic all over it. All over 49 right now. Unbelievable. It's hard to see anything but rain. Yeah, Greenland just got hit bad. The Greenland area, that is, just got hit with a really strong tornado. Folks, this is... If this occludes back to the left, turns back to the left, Fayetteville's in danger. Fayetteville, it is pivotal that you are in your safe spot right now. Goshen, Elkins, Huntsville, Elkins, Springdale's included, Johnson. But this is a damaging tornado. I'm going to zoom back in on it just so everybody's kind of aware of what I'm talking about. This blue color is debris. This is a debris signature. I'm trying to see if I have any photos or anything. I don't have anything. I'm under a tornado warning where I live now, guys, so I'm going to have to be really careful about this. I'm going to... Lord. So I'm under a tornado warning where I live, so I'm going to have to be real careful with this. But a new tornado warning has been issued for Sebastian County. It does not include Fort Smith at this time. Barling, Greenwood, and Hackett, and South Sebastian County in general. I'll be right back. I'm going to go talk to my wife real quick. Make sure we've got everything set and ready to go. I'll be right back, guys.